to compose myself. The stories are so compelling.
Thank you. So friends, you can see why the House of Justice said that the Institute is an engine of growth, and it produces people that have more courage, and they're more confident, and they're resourceful, and so on. And by the way, you know, just because we don't understand what we're doing, because all of this cluster business and study circles and so on, you know, this is all new language and new ideas, but the House of Justice said, remember in that October letter, that we shouldn't underestimate the power of this system, the power inherent in this system. But many times, as Baha'is always, ever since, like Ms. Batar said, how great Canada was in their response to the divine plan. Ever since Shoghi Effendi gave us that first 7-year plan in 1937, we've always been, we didn't really, I'm sure the believers there didn't know what they were doing. They were told that we should go to South America, we should open this province, we should open this capital, we should get property. We really didn't know, but we were just being obedient to the head of the faith. And I think much of what we've accomplished so far in this plan is a result of that kind of obedience.
There was an overwhelming realization of the Assembly that children's classes needed to be open to all. We needed to take care of all the children, not just the Baha'i children. This September, 2 children's classes were started in 3 seekers' homes, all Aboriginal and all single moms. One of these has since declared her faith in Baha'u'llah. The other 2 share the children's class between their 2 homes. And this allows for outreach at a native housing complex and low-income housing.
I remember one time I was with the hand of the cause, Mr. Khadem, and he was telling me that Shoghi Effendi, he was with Shoghi Effendi in Haifa, and Shoghi Effendi said that they arranged for a meeting in Cairo. And it was going to be an extraordinary meeting because they didn't have large meetings at that time in Cairo. And Shoghi Effendi had organized this meeting for all the Baha'is in Cairo to come together. And he asked Mr. Khadem to go and speak there. And he told Mr. Khadem to go there to Cairo and give them the glad tidings. And he introduced him to a man who would translate for him into Arabic. And so he and the translator left the presence of Shoghi Effendi. But on their way out, one of them said, so now the guardian wants us to give the glad tidings. What is that now? And the other one said, I thought you knew. But they were too shy to go back and ask Shoghi Effendi what the glad tidings was. So they just went and they were just praying and praying. Mr. Khadem said he was just praying. He didn't know what he was supposed to do for Shoghi Effendi, but he was being obedient. He went to Cairo.
But what is most exciting is that we're now seeing seekers take ownership of the core activities and help multiply them themselves. So to give some background about Acadia, the Baha'is established a presence in the community through many years of providing moral education classes, English corner, junior youth groups, and various camps. And also during this time, we built a relationship with the Acadia program coordinator who allows us to advertise our programs in the Acadia calendar. So all this groundwork has helped us to achieve the successes we've had over the past few months. Last summer, we went to houses in the neighborhood inviting children to children's classes. But before doing this, we reflected on our past experiences with children's classes and decided that we needed to be more direct in our approach. We mentioned the faith more and made it very clear that the children's classes were being conducted by Baha'is and that the lesson material came from the Baha'i faith. The children who came out from this new effort were not consistent in their attendance, but after we advertised the class through the program calendar and posters, a more dedicated and consistent group started to attend.
He said even when he walked up on the stage, he still didn't know what he should say. He was just praying. And then he somehow is inspired to tell the friends in Cairo about a recent trip he had to Iran. He was asked by the Guardian to go and check on a situation in Yazd where there were several Baha'is that had been arrested and they were in prison in Yazd. And he gained access to the prison and was able to visit them. But because there were guards around and there were other prisoners who weren't Baha'i and so on, he didn't want to say that he was coming from Shoghi Effendi. So he said he had to make up some code word or some, sort of secretly explain that he came from Shoghi Effendi. So he said, he told them that he came from on high with greetings.
Now that we have moved into neighborhood activities, having the class in the neighborhood makes it easy for us. If the weather's bad, we don't have to go an hour somewhere. It's preventing us from doing that. And transportation. If you're without transportation, it's easy to get around your neighborhood. Another even more important advantage is that it allows us to form interactions on a weekly basis, not just because of Baha'i children's classes. So we visit them, you see them at the store, you go to the Christmas concerts of the kids, you go out for coffee, you visit them in their homes, you have study circles, and so the interactions become more personal. And this also allowed us to eventually move into doing studying on reflections of the life of the Spirit.
There was one old man who was in his 90s, one Baha'i in his 90s among the prisoners, and he didn't understand what that meant. And in fact, he didn't even hear it. He said, "What was that?" He said, "They came from on high." He was explaining it again. He said, "What was that?" He said, "He came from on high." And he says, I don't understand. His name, by the way, many of you know him, who I'm talking about. His name is Mr. Malmuri. He met Baha'u'llah when he was a teenager. Now he's in his 90s, but he couldn't understand what they were saying. And so finally somebody said, he came from Shoghi Effendi, Guardian, with the greetings. He still didn't hear. So they said it a little louder. He says, from Shoghi Effendi, came with greetings. And then he realized what they were saying. He went, Ya Baha'u'llah. He started dancing. He said, he came from Shoghi Effendi to greet us, and he was so excited. And they were saying, please, please, they might kill us. And Mr. Mallory said, kill me, it'd be my honor. I don't know.
In our initial visits, we showed them the lessons and shared a prayer book with one family that seemed especially receptive. After our initial visits, however, we struggled to find reasons to visit the parents again, and so we looked to Book 3 for guidance on how to proceed. It suggests identifying spiritual qualities and finding quotations concerning these qualities that you want the children to develop. It then says to consult with the parents on how their children can develop these qualities. So after reading this guidance, we made an effort to engage in these kind of consultations with the parents. And what we did was bring a list of the themes and quotations from the next month's classes and talked with the parents about how to reinforce these qualities at home. The parents responded very well to this, and this gave us a reason to go back.
Of course, now Mr. Fadem is in Cairo, and he decides that's the story he would tell the friends in Cairo. But he didn't know if that was the glad tidings or what he should say. But he finished the story, and he shared about the sacrifices and the suffering of the Baha'is in Iran, and their nobility and their determination. And he said that when he came back to Haifa, he was with Shoghi Effendi. He was walking on the mountain with Shoghi Effendi, walking behind him out of respect, of course. And Shoghi Effendi stopped, and he turned around and said, "Be confident, you gave them the glad tidings."